Hi, welcome to Colours and Flavours Podcast. My name is Oyinka Daudu, your host on this amazing podcast. I share inspiring stories, encouragement, and advice for young women navigating faith, dating, and marriage. This episode is a special one because for the first time on the podcast, I'm not going to be speaking alone. I've got a guest with me. It's the beginning of a new series called Young and Married, where I get to speak with up to 7 young wives who have been married for less than 5 years. We're going to talk about how marriage has been in the early years and how they navigate specific areas in their marriage. So, from finances, intimacy, communication, handling conflicts and differences, everything, navigating goals, achieving goals as a couple. It's going to be an amazing, amazing series, and I'm so excited. So today I've got my first guest, like I mentioned, the one and only Mrs. Ibukun Oluwasijuwomi. Hello. Do you know I've actually never asked if I pronounced the surname correctly?
I should ask my husband because I always pronounce it as Oluwasijuwomi. Then you now say, babe, it is she Juwomi. So I think we're correct, factually right, because it's Oluwa. Like if we say Oluwasijuwomi, it's the same. God opened his eyes to see me. It's a beautiful surname.
That's very
Yes.
lovely. Most people don't usually know what their surnames mean, at least like for us Yoruba names. You just know, okay, that's your surname. So for this to have like an actual translation that means such a beautiful thing, that's amazing. So
I know.
we've got Ibuku here. Welcome. I want to say a big thank you for
You.
doing this.
No,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for making out the time. Thank you for agreeing to talk about marriage. I know it's possible that you're building a good marriage, but you don't necessarily share about it publicly. But thank you for agreeing to do this. I believe stories are powerful.
Yes.
Examples are powerful. And
Correct.
for me, when I first came to the UK, I wasn't married, but then I got married, I think 2 years, 2 or 3 years, but 2, 3 years after I got married. But one thing I was looking out for were other couples in the UK that were building godly marriages. And I didn't really know many personally. So I'm sure there was, I just didn't know them.
Yeah.
But thankfully, in church now, there are a lot of people who are getting married. And so I'm seeing other examples. So even when I'm going through something, I'm like, oh, I can be encouraged by the people around me who are building godly Christian homes. So yeah, I just want that representation to be common, especially for younger Christian women coming that, yeah, there are people who are doing it right. So
You're so
I can
right.
do it right as well.
I
So
no, I really like that. And just like on that point as well, it's almost like what you see around you as well is super important.
yeah.
Because before we got married, I had my sister. In all fairness, like I remember when my sister got married, before she got married, I just thought, oh, my sister would now be away from me. She's now with her husband. But
Yeah.
boy, was I wrong. Like my sister's husband, amazing. And then my sister, seeing both of them together and how they work together, I'm not going to lie, Pio. Number one, it even created in me a desire for marriage. It removed the fear, like, oh my God, will I get it wrong? And it just also gave me like a world of possibilities of like, oh, this is what I want my marriage. I'm like, I think I like this. So I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's very solid. Examples are powerful. So
Yeah.
thank you for being an example on a public platform like this. God bless you. Thank you. All right. So just disclaimer to those who are listening or watching. She just called me Pio, and that's short form for Pastor Inko. And yeah, we know each other from church, so that's why I'm a pastor. That's public information. So Pio is the name you'll probably hear throughout this episode. So let's get into it. All right. So tell us a bit about yourself and your husband. I just want to give context to everyone who is following the episode to know what we're talking about.
Okay. So I obviously am Ibukun and Ibukun. Pronunciation is important. Ibukun means blessings of God, right? And I would say that in the almost 30 years that I've now lived, I would say what I'm drawn to is building. Like I love to build people, I love to build businesses, and I love to build initiatives as well. So for example, I've got a community that I started about 5 years ago now after I came into the UK for international students in diaspora. I just really wanted to change the narrative of secrecy. Like, oh, when you come, you must cover what you're doing. Don't tell anybody if you've got a job. And I really wanted to change that narrative, and knowledge is power. So that's an example of building a community, for example, and building people.
Yeah.
And then I'm like building a business. So I've got a business called Scenario. So we make yes, Bio is one of our top customers. Honestly, thank you. I have to give you a shout out, and you'll win our necklace as well. Thank you. So we make inspirational jewelry for everyone, women, men, to tell their stories. And again, that's just an example of building something. And I guess outside of this, it's worth me saying that I'm an AI consultant, and that's what I do day to day. My husband is also in the tech industry, so he is a sales consultant in tech. So we understand our lingua very, very, very well. Remember the point I raised earlier about building?
Yeah.
My husband is such a dreamer. And so you can imagine a builder and a dreamer together.
Match made in heaven.
Honestly, so I'm going to put a pin there. You'll see this theme go on mostly in our conversations.
All right, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So how did you and your husband meet? How did you and Tracy meet?
I'll give you the abridged version, okay? Let me start from when my friend messaged me. I feel like this is important for context. So I've got a friend, she's not part of the story, but she messaged me about someone that she had seen on my Instagram profile. Like, we were close friends, right?
Okay.
So she messaged me and said, "Oh, Ibukun, do you know this guy?" I'm like, "No, I don't know him." Oh, she's like, "Oh, that she saw him somewhere, and she took a liking to him." So she looked at his close friends and she saw that we were mutuals, like myself and the guy were mutuals. So
Okay.
she thought to come to me to make an introduction. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I actually don't know this guy." And we
Oh, you
just
mean like
bonded.
she liked him from afar and
This
wanted
guy,
to
yeah,
get
exactly.
to
No,
know
not T. Yeah, another guy.
another person. Okay.
Another guy, not T. Yes, exactly. So, but what she did gave me an idea. And
Okay.
now I was like, so if you see a profile on Instagram and you like the person, don't judge me. You can go to their close friends list and find who you know, like who is close to you that knows them. I said,
Understand.
interesting. And so this was, by the way, this was a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm tired of like talking to men. Like, I'm not even joking. I was just like, please, the men I'm
I
talking
didn't know
to.
that we had come to that point, but
POC. Those men, they were serious men. They were spirit-filled men. But you know that that's not the only ingredient that it takes to make this work. I then said, you know what? This guy. Now this is my husband. He had been liking my pictures consistently. I think for about a year, because when you have those small icons on your Instagram profile and you keep seeing it. There
okay.
was a face I kept seeing, and it was because it was his profile picture. So after the conversation with my friend, God is so good because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait, if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have thought about this. I'm not even joking. So I went to his profile, went to mutual friends, and then saw one of my friends, Dami. We went to NYC together. Dami is an amazing person. And so I messaged Dami like, "Oh, Dami, I saw this guy's been liking my pictures. Do you know him?" Dami said, tell me that me and him were literally like brothers. We grew up together. I was like,
Wow.
okay, interesting. Okay, no. There's nothing. No, I just saw his profile. He has been liking my pictures. So I just said, let me ask.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. T started following me on Instagram via this my friend Dami.
Okay.
Right. So in the past, T knew about me from Dami and started following me on Instagram. Obviously, there were no introductions made to T, so I did not know T, but T knew me. So this
Okay.
was where the spanner in the works. I know it. That's why I said it's a very interesting story. So when I messaged Dami to say, "Oh, Dami, who is this person?" Dami in excitement had gone to message T to say, "Do you know Ibukun?" Now T is like, "This is a very strange question. Obviously, I know this girl through you.
Through you.
So you coming to ask me something is up." I wish I was there to tell you because he always has one side of the story, but this is my side. So
You're allowed to see your version.
exactly. So when he messaged him, Tina said, "There's something happening here, something happening." Now, when my friend said, "Oh, what's happening? Let me message him," I said, "No, don't make any introductions, because I was at that point, like I said, whatever it was, I wasn't, number one, I didn't want to rush it. I did not want to force it. And so I was just like, no, just leave it. This is just stage one of what of my finding out. I didn't even know whatever stage two was. Now, thank God, T is a very sharp guy. When he saw that happened, according to him, he's a liar. He just found me interesting. It's not that he liked me, but I don't believe him. When all of that was happening, and he went back to ask his friend, tell me, his friend did not reply. So coincidentally, at that time, I recorded a video, my interpretation of Psalms 23 for Tammy. Shout out to Tammy. She has a platform where speak one verse where you tell your translation of your story.
Okay.
And Tammy had put it on her story. T is in like the same circle or same network, let me say same network with Tammy.
Okay.
In that same period, T stumbles on my video and then goes, this is perfect time for me to message this person.
All the while, he's just been liking your pictures, never reached out.
He never reached out. Do you know that when we started talking and I said, babe, how come you never? He said, me, I'll reach out to that. I'll now be like, all those plenty people that will message say happy birthday. that would have ruined his
I mean,
chances.
relationships have started like that too, but God helps you people.
That's actually true. That's actually very true. So he then said, so he then messaged me saying, oh, I really like your translation of Psalms 23, something. Next thing, this guy sends me VN. I was like, it's the confidence. First message was a text and a VN. I was like, must be nice.
Okay.
So I remember seeing it that day. I was like, this is very interesting. This guy really sent me VN. I dropped it first. I was like, no, I'm not going to reply. And then obviously I replied the next day. And since then, we've literally been talking every day since then.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
For the people
Instagram.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's really nice.
And I like to say, anytime I keep telling him, like, go and thank Dami. Because, like I said, I had to stop the story there. But Dami was one of the people that said, oh my God, like, this guy is my brother. Like, I trust him without me even asking about him. And what that did is that it broke down a wall. Because if I just met him randomly, I don't know, I'll be a bit cautious. Is
I'll
the
leave
truth.
you on red.
Exactly. So I think it was a mix of both, like that mutual connection, then like strengthen the trust in first instance. Yeah.
Well, ladies, if you're watching this and you're single and searching, at least you got an idea. Don't force it. Don't rush it, like you said. But at least you can make an effort and scroll through the following you and engaging with your pictures.
Honestly.
It's not random. It takes effort to double tap on an image. Trust me, it's not random. So, all right. So that's good. So that's how you guys. How long have you been married now?
We've been married for 1 year, 6 months or 4 months.
Okay.
4 months since Feb
1
20.
year, 4 months. Okay, that's good. How's it been so far?
Blissful. One day I was talking to my mom. I said, Mommy, you didn't tell me this is how good marriage is. She laughed. She said, okay, now you know.
I'm so happy, and I think your feedback or comment about it is visible. Like you're happy, you're joyful, like vibrant. It's so obvious that you both are enjoying being married. So
Honestly.
I'm very, very happy for you guys. So
Thank
since you've been married, I mean, you've said, "Oh, mommy, this is so good." So, like, what's one good surprise that you've experienced in marriage? So, one thing you're like, "Oh, I like being married."
One thing is going to be very difficult, but I'm going to say one. It may not not because of priority or anything, but it comes to mind. It's the support from your partner. It's the, like, number one, that's one of the qualities that drew me to tea. But aside that, it's the support from your partner. Like, see, before I got married, you guys, my parents, they've tried. My family members, my friends have tried. Ibukun, eat. Ibukun, please eat. And then I remember, it's so funny, the words of your mouth, so powerful. I remember telling my family back then, don't worry, when I get married, you'll see I'll eat and I'll grow fatter. It was like a running joke, like still something that you could not do for 28 years, you will now do it post marriage. And it's so interesting how, since we've been married, myself and T working as a team, so another caveat, we talked about this before we got married. We didn't just get into marriage and like one of those expectations that I meant to talk about that you did not talk about. Who is cooking? Who is doing? What is the plan? What is it? And I remember there was a book we were reading back then, and we kind of number one, we both took away from that book that service is important, right? So whilst I don't like to cook, I'm not going to say I don't cook or I will not cook, right? We've established the fact that I don't like to cook, but marriage is obviously service to your partner. Obviously, she has been the one cooking the delicious food for me
House chef.
to be like this, but it's changed my behavior as well and
Mm.
my attitude slowly. It wasn't because I said no, I must cook, or he said no. But excuse me, marriage is all about service. When you see your partner serving, you are encouraged to do the same. Like you're not there to sit and I'm like, yes, bring all the food to me. No. So in fact, maybe the word is service, not support. And no, I that is the one thing that I can talk about. I'm gonna put full stop.
So is there, like, on the flip side, a shocking surprise? Like, I did not know that we had to figure this out in marriage.
There definitely is. I would say when it comes to like how you used to do things before
Yeah.
and having to adapt or to be flexible is
Very
something.
important.
So I'll give you again another example. So with me, I'm very methodical in terms of like where things are in the house. I'm like, this is where the remote should be. This is where the plates should be. This is
Exactly.
the cover for the cups. My lovely husband is like, babe, what does the placement matter? And I'm sure that there's also another one in terms of a reverse. I'm like, this is. And I just noticed that look at this money now. We're looking for the iPad. Where is the iPad? There's a place where the iPad is meant
It's
to be.
supposed to be.
So I think that's like one of the shocking truths, just in terms of marriage, and like if you have your own certain way, and like it's just that flexibility is required. And like I said, I'm sure also for TZ too. And there'll be an example.
Yeah. I think that's very valid for especially those of us who are organized. Like, if you like things being somewhere
A
and
certain
the other party is not like that, you will learn that very quickly. So yes, it's a very common shocking surprise. So you mentioned how your sister got married earlier, but did your parents' marriage impact your view on marriage?
it actually did.
It
It
did.
did. It did in a I didn't know it at the time, but I put myself under pressure.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is I love my parents, their marriage. I just love seeing them together. I love how they work as a team. I love how they support their kids. And so for me, I was like, I cannot have anything less. So I cannot have anything less. And it's that pressure that I alluded to earlier,
Mm,
before I now saw my own sister's like marriage very like up close, that I like the pressure then washed away because I'm like, okay, these are two normal people, like I could see that happening.
yeah.
Um, so I had a picture just in terms of for my parents is the support they give each other. It's like I'm sure I have a feeling I'm going to mention support more than 10 times on this.
Because it's important. I mean,
And yes, it's just the support honestly that they give each other, the love, like writing handwritten cards. Like
oh,
I'm like, this is so cute. And for me, I felt like I took that away and I was like, it cannot be anything less. So it did put pressure on me initially, but thank God, because perfect love cast out all fears. So yeah, here we
yeah.
are.
But finances, right? I know you were doing well before you got married, right? You had a job, you were financially knowledgeable, and you were already taking steps towards your own financial well-being, and you're
Mhm.
also doing great now, even as a married woman. But while you were dating, did you have any concerns about managing finances, when you got married to somebody?
Yes. So for this one, yes, definitely. Now, for me, it's so this finance conversation is so interesting. All the videos me and T have watched, at least 5, and even like we've also spoken to it about our mentors, about it to our mentors extensively. So for me, before getting into marriage, right,
Yeah.
I did not know that I had an undue expectation. Now, I don't want to say undue. Okay. In my case, in reflection, it was undue, but I had an expectation that I did not confess to myself or to my husband that when I get married, I just want my husband to be surprising me with gifts. He should just be taking me out. When we go and buy things, I should not spend my money. I
Mm.
am not joking. Like, I know it sounds so ridiculous, but I had that audio, especially like, as per expenses, my husband should just be paying for it. Like,
So even
and
if you
then,
had your own money, you
yes,
didn't realize that you were expecting that he would still be the one to take care of
let him
everything.
be.
Okay.
No, I am not going to lie, and I will tell you how it all was revealed. So I had these expectations that I did not even reveal to myself. So
Mm,
now, what uncovered this expectation was okay. And another thing, by the way, because we had spoken about finances before marriage, but when you guys are in it, the practical is different from the theory when it comes to finances because it's money. And so my expectation, no, this one was expressed was that we will do things in a joint way,
okay.
right? And I won't get into the detail because every couple has their own definition of joint. Either
Yeah.
it's a percentage of something, either it's a defined percentage or whatever it was. We had said we wanted to do things jointly. And actually, back then, before marriage, we hadn't defined what joint meant. We just said we wanted to do joints. When we now got married, it was now interesting because me, I will confess, I was holding my money.
Really?
Which was very interesting to T because T knows me as someone that's giving, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you're quite generous.
so he's like, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
I was like, what's really going on here? So we now had to sit down. So the first thing we did was we defined what does joint mean to us, right?
Mm,
Like, what is the definition of joint? And like I said, it can be different for different people. And I've again been straightforward with this. Just defining what it meant to us. We went back and forth like 3 times. So
wow.
we
Okay.
went back and forth 3 times on this definition before we now stood at a point where we were both very happy. But there was something, and I'm so grateful for my husband, honestly, for this mindset shifts that I had about finances. He said something which I've always believed, but like I said, the basket is from theory. He said, babe, because we are a unit, right? Whilst yes, so sorry, let me clarify. We have joints, but we also have separates. So that was something we agreed on. That separate one was something we agreed on, right? But
Okay.
he said, babe, you know that even when like you've got yours, I've got mine, if you need something, I would not bat an eyelid. So yes, I know we have a joint, but I will not bat an eyelid to go and remove what I have for my personal to make
Mm.
it happen. You know? Because in my mind was joint is my contribution. Let's draw the line. My personal.
Is your personal, really?
So now, again, God bless my husband because again, no one's perfect, but it was. I think this was one of the like greatest mindset shifts because now back to the point I said in terms of it revealed something about like my thoughts on finances. That was where I realized that actually the reason why, for example, if we needed something, I'm not going to touch my personal account. It's because in my mind, you should take care of it, not me. And that wasn't a right mindset if you were thinking of oneness.
One, yeah.
You can't say you guys are one, then you say, but finances, oh, sorry. Oh. Because I think about it, money is a tool at the end of the day. Like, I've done it, don't worry, I've gone through a journey on this particular topic. So, just to wrap this word up, after we agreed on like the joint thing, it was also that mindset shift for me and understanding that even with our individual accounts, obviously, nobody will go and like say, okay, give me something. And that's where trust comes in as well. Like, you know that your partner thinks the best, and your partner, you don't only think, your partner has proved it time and time again, right? Therefore, like that oneness, that mindset of oneness is so important. And
Yeah.
like seeing it play out, I think like after that mindset shift happened has been really beautiful for me.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's so important. And it's interesting how you said it's revealing because
Mm,
prior to marriage you might not have thought you would do that, but when it comes to it now, it's like, I've
yeah.
sent my contribution, like you said. The rest is for me to figure out myself. So I like that progress, and especially for young women who are already financially not independent, but you had a way of managing your finances. And so when
Yeah,
you come into marriage,
exactly.
it's like I already have a system.
Yeah.
So I can pitch in, but I probably still want to do things how I like, to
Mm-hmm.
growing to realize that, you know what, you're one.
Exactly.
And even when it comes to money, you should build together, do things together.
Yeah.
Is there any other thing that has helped you guys?
I think another thing that also helped back then was so when we realized that wait, oh, we were not as aligned as we thought we were,
Yeah.
I went away to do my own reading. T
Okay.
also went away to do his own. And then we now said, okay, whatever decision we make, let it not be like, oh, but this is how Mr. and Mrs. is doing.
Mm.
We are not, we are not Mr. and Mrs. We are Ibukun and T.
Yeah.
Our dynamic is different. And so it's also like pulling wisdom from different sources. And again, this is something that we spoke about with our mentors. Shout out to Taya and Inda. But we picked what we thought would apply in our scenario. And that was what we now decided. I think is so important. And one thing is that really helped as well, like when we eventually decided, is don't share the expectations that you did not know. Actually, this was our mentors that told us this, and then we had a chat after. Share the expectations that you did not know that you had. Share it. Like that vulnerability when it comes to finances is so important. That's
Yeah.
what I now said. Actually, babe, I actually don't know. I had an undue expectation that you made. I said, interesting. And like again, that may happen in the future. Like who knows, right? But
Yeah.
in that moment, being vulnerable meant like we were not just addressing the surface of like our finance conversation. We're getting to the root. Do you get like what was driving those thoughts that I had and the ones that he had, for example? It's super important. And then whatever you decide, let it be you and your partner. Not like now you listen to Ibuku. Ibuku said no.
Mm. Okay.
Hear from others, but decide on what is best for you and your partner.
And your partner. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think that context in your marriage is important, even when it comes to any kind of marriage counsel you receive, but
Yeah.
especially so when it comes to money, because your dynamics is different from everyone else. So thank you. So there's something I really admire about you, Auntie, and it's the
Mm,
closeness and the friendship that you share. Because one
mm,
time you called and you're like, oh, he made you laugh, or you were laughing so much that that kind of belly laugh as children. So you laugh together, you play together, you spend time together, and it looks
mm,
like you enjoy being together, doing things together. How do you maintain that friendship as a couple? Because I mean,
mm,
life and adulting can be a lot, and
yeah.
it's possible. Like some couples have a decent marriage, but they're
Mm,
not necessarily friends with their spouse. So how do you ensure that amidst the responsibilities of marriage, adulting, it
mm.
does not affect the friendship that you both have?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Whilst I don't have like I've not sat down to say it's this is this is this. Number one, thank you. That's such a compliment because yes,
Yeah.
when you shared that earlier, I was like, oh, this is so cute. If I were to answer the question right now, like from our experience, I would say one thing with me and T is this. Was I think it was probably something pre-marriage that's now
Okay.
playing out in marriage. And it was something that also, in all fairness, attracted me to tea. It's the authenticity. It's always quite difficult to say that word. Like being authentic. Anybody that has met my husband, okay, wait. If you've met him in like a serious setting, he can seem quiet. But if you met him in a casual setting, you know that my husband is a very very interesting person. Like he can have a conversation with you on anything and he can find out about your life in 5 minutes.
I mean, sales consultant for a reason.
Listen. And that was, I think, to be fair, it's one of his natural attributes and abilities.
Mm.
And when we, like, right from when we met, like, we were very open with each other. Like, obviously, the vulnerability grew in
Yeah.
stages, but I really, I felt, and now I know for a fact that he is an authentic person, right? And so that immediately just kind of broke my walls down. And I also felt very free to just be me, right? So I would say that it has now played out in marriage because we are both like super open with each other, like literally like inner thought open with each other.
Mm.
And it has really really helped us because you get to know, like, when somebody does something, you will not just judge them based on what they did, but you take a step back, just be like, okay, maybe it's because of this and this and this. Okay, wait, come, that thing they did not make sense. Why
Mm.
did you do it? So yeah, I would say that when we were building our relationship, we were very authentic, and I think that has now played out in terms of our friendship in marriage. And I will also say, I know like people would also say like make sure you have like dates, make sure
Yeah, I
you
was
have
gonna ask you guys
da-da-da,
like, if you have a structure in place to spend time
to
together.
spend time with each other. In all fairness, we have a structure that we have. I won't say we rigorously follow, but
Okay.
we, for example, said, okay, we're going to make sure we go on dates at least once a month. And so let's get in the mood. Say, we've not gone on a date. Where we need to go, we need to go somewhere, we need to go somewhere. But I guess it's not even the tick box exercise of like going on a date. It's just like it's just the childlike joy of seeing each other like as if you're dating. Like, "Wait, but that's okay, you now be getting ready, or you now be like I think it's all of that. And even when obviously you are whatever the date definition is, you are present you're present with that person. And I
Yeah.
found that during our dates, that's when we'll now be like, babe, there was something you did because it just like it's such a like relaxed environment that you just feel really vulnerable, and it just helps you grow closer as well to your partner because in that moment you feel like, wow, really, okay, okay, I'm sorry, like, okay, this, okay, okay, I'll do better in this. And I think another thing that's really helped our friendship is appreciating each other.
Okay.
Like, so we have a rule that even if it's something small, I will appreciate you. Because that small thing you did, it is important. It just helps your partner feel seen. Like,
Mm.
oh, thank you for washing the plates. Oh, you made chicken for us. Thank you. Like small things like that really helps because it just helps your partner know that you're seen, that
See.
you yeah, like you're seeing them, and then when they do the same to you as well, like, oh, okay, yeah, of course, fine, no problem. So we've always like said that we don't want to get too familiar with each other,
Yeah.
where we're not like, so by the grace of God, again, all of this is still in like 1 year, 4 months, but by the
Yeah.
grace of God, I think those are the things that we have practiced, and it's really helped us build our friendship.
Thank you. Thank you. So being yourselves, even
Yeah.
pre-marriage, you both knew what you are seeing is what you get. Being yourselves, going out together. So the dates is like just making sure you go outdoor to
Mm-hmm.
spend time together and being present while you're on dates. I think that's very important because in this age where your mobile phones are nearby,
As
it's
in,
easy to be physically present but distracted. So I
mm-hmm.
think that being present is so nice, and the appreciation bit is very important because
Yeah.
yeah, as a couple, it's easy to get familiar. Like, okay, you watched it, all
Mhm.
right, you want a
As in,
medal, but I think saying thank you, it goes a long way, and it's something that can put a smile on the face of your spouse.
yes,
So
exactly.
that's solid. Thank you, thank you.
Cool.
There's something else that I know about people. So the friendship you share with each other is beautiful, but
Mm,
then you're also involved in each other's wider community. So you
mm,
both show up for each other's friends, like you show up for the other person's friends' events. In fact, at this point, I feel like all your friendships are mixed. You won't know whose friends was friend initially. So you show up in each other's communities, you show up for each other's events. You're
mm,
involved in like whatever the other person is
yeah.
passionate about. Whether it's a scenario event, you know that, like I said, it's a multifaceted husband. You know, buddies when there's a worship event, set
As
up
in,
man when there's an event to prepare for. So
yeah.
you're actually physically involved in each other's passions and interests, even when it comes to serving at church. There
Mm,
was one day I think we had a service together and you
mm,
were maybe having a session with someone, maybe an advice session, and then he was
mm,
waiting out for you. And it was just
mm,
nice that I mean you can say, okay, you meet me at home, but he was still there waiting. You make time for what the other person is
yeah.
interested in or passionate about. So how do you ensure that as a couple that you prioritize what the other spouse cares
Mm,
about beyond marriage? Because for
yeah.
some people they're scared like, oh, when I get married, I don't want to lose my own interest, my own
Mm,
passions. I already have things that I loved to do. How do you ensure that in marriage you guys still make time for one another's passions and interests?
yeah. Honestly, so this one is like a surprise to me. And thank you again for the compliment. But I have to give it to my husband. I'm not even going to lie. I will not collect the accolades for this one. I just have to give it to him, and I will try to answer this question. Honestly, this is like one of the sweetest things that, and I keep telling to like, because there's sometimes I'm like, babe, you don't have to see. Let me even break your bubble. My husband goes to work every day, right? I go to work twice in a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because I've got friends in London, it only makes sense to see them after work, right?
Yeah.
The first time this thing happened, I thought my husband was going to go home, and I promise you it would have been totally okay. My husband said, "No, an opportunity for us to go home together. No, 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 no. I'll wait for you.
Oh,
I even have work to do, so I'll wait for you." I thought it was a one-time thing. The next time I had something to do in London, I had to wait. My husband said, "No, it's fine. Just tell me when you're free." In fact, my friend that was chatting was like, "Oh, hope your husband." I said, "No, no, no, he's fine." Even me, I'll say, "No, he's fine, it's fine." But in my mind, I was like, "Ah, wait, Ibukun, you two should maybe you should hurry up because he's
yeah.
waiting." But like, I remember that day, I ran longer than I should have, and then I got to Houston, and again, this is how it's just interesting. And I got to Houston, and I saw T. I thought he was going to be like, "Ah, babe, we agreed on a time, blah blah blah." He was like, "Oh, babe, how far?" And it just melted me because I'm not going to lie. I will confess. I'm working on my patience, right? If it was me, babe, we agreed on a time.
You are
You were
late.
not here. And it just melted me. I was like, oh my God, wow. And now, like, we already know it's a rule. And it's so funny because in the past, like I said, it 100% would have been fine if he left.
Yeah.
And which means that if it was me, I genuinely would have left.
But I
But
felt, okay,
now,
meet me at home.
as in, but now, if he's doing anything and I'm in London that day, I'm waiting for you, babe. Don't worry. Like, So I think when it comes to like showing up for each other, it's that point I raised about outdoing each other in love. It's
Mm,
not a competition, but as per like we're raising the bar for each other. And so it just motivates you to show up for the other person too. And the
mm,
reason why I said I'm giving accolades to my husband is he's definitely because okay, like I said at the start of this call, there are a couple of things that I dabble in, right? So when it comes to he will say him is a simple guy. I'm doing 1,001 things because I like to execute.
you're the builder.
And so the truth is, the scale is a little bit unbalanced, and that's why I'm giving him the accolades because in the truth is he has to show up more for me in
You.
terms of like the doings than I have to. And honestly, it's I don't know how he does it. I love him for it. Like no, it endears my heart like completely. And it's just like there's always something that he will always be around to help me with. And just knowing that like, oh, I have my part. Even if obviously it's not like we're glued to the hip, but I can see him from afar, like, I see you, I see you. Knowing that he's present when I have like all these things has been so helpful. So I think to answer the question for me, it's just like when T shows up for me, I'm like, wow, like I don't have a choice.
Yeah. It
It's
wasn't
like
it wasn't anything you intentionally talked about. It just seemed like he did it, and that motivated you as well to
in
do.
all fairness, to in fact, sometimes I'm like, babe, you don't have like it's fine if this like so for example, last week we had like a community thing that our friend organizes, pre-play it. And the truth is it's for women and men, but is like 98% women.
Yeah.
We've been to it in the past, and I know because of like tea community every day, Saturday is just a time for us to rest. I
Mm,
genuinely said, "Oh, babe, this is how it's already coming around, but you don't have to come." She said, "I'll even bring my piano and play."
yeah.
When I told my friend that T is coming and he's going to be playing the piano, she said, "This kind of family member we like." She's very dramatic,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's yeah. I'll put a full stop there. That's kind of
It's more
how
him. He
yeah.
he really he raised the bar, so
He
you don't
raised
have
the
a
bar,
choice.
and like me, it's not a thing of like, oh, because it is I have to, but you're conditioned to see things in a different way. It's
Yeah.
almost like, oh, this is a norm, this is our norm, you
Yeah.
know and so you just adjust to the norm as well.
And that's good. And then finally, it's something you've touched on in the episode, like, oh, we spoke to our mentors. We spoke to
Yeah.
our mentors. And I remember one day where you both had just had a call with your mentor. You're like, oh, we
Mm.
we just had to finish talking to our mentors. Oh, I love to see people's intentionality. So is that like a couple that you both open up to about your
Yeah.
marriage? Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. So you have that couple that you can speak to when you need to talk about marriage. So is this something you only do when there's like a challenge, or is just a structure you have to speak with them maybe at regular times?
Yeah, it is. It's actually a structure because T
Okay.
and I realized that if you only talk to counselors when you are going through things, you kind of miss the beauty of actually like just like genuinely trashing out and talking about things when everything is perfect. Like
Yeah.
as you know, when nobody's fighting, it's easier to say this. I think you can improve in this. Oh, this is how I felt when you said this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is. But when the environment is tense, it's more difficult to pass that like message across. So to both of us, we believe that, and that's why we've been like talking to our mentors and we speak to them monthly.
Monthly.
We just decided that even when things are great, we still want to talk to them. Obviously, we want to make best use of their time. So if you don't have any topic, we've not had any topic yet. But if you have, we'll be like, "Ah, sorry, we can cancel for this month." But I think what really made us both invested again in our mentorship relationship is when we, and I'll advise this for anyone who hasn't gotten married yet. Just before we got married, shout out to my sister Ebon. My sister said, I know people do marriage counseling. I know like before you get married, do marriage counseling, da da da. But have you
Yeah.
considered relationship counseling? I was like,
Okay.
there's something we are going to talk about. And again, back to that point of even when things are good. She said, no, it's not to fish out issues or like or to solve an issue. It is basically getting a third party's perspective
Yeah.
in terms of your relationship growing, your desires, da da da. And this was pre-proposal. My
Okay.
sister is so funny. My sister, as long as you're not engaged and you are not married, anything can happen.
It's true. Until you say I do, it can be done, please.
You said that she said when you are engaged, there's a bias that already exists. I said,
Yeah.
it's already exists now. She said, no, 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 it's different. It was wise counsel because we then reached out to a relationship counselor. We had 2 sessions with her and it was so good. Like T and I think about like those sessions because like I said, we did not have anything, like we didn't think we needed it.
Yeah.
But we thought, okay, wait, if this is something that is helpful, at least we're open to trying. And it's just so beautiful because the questions that this counselor asked, we thought we had finished talking. Yes, we are very transparent with each other. Now, so it's even broke this down further. Like, I keep saying, like, I think that session definitely caused like a shift in our relationship. Like, our vulnerability levels were locked to another level. And so, when we reflected on it, in the moment, it didn't seem like it because we're like, oh, yeah, we just, this is but when we now reflected on this session and the conversations that we had afterwards, we're like,
Yeah.
wait, oh, wait, oh, wait, oh, this was pivotal. Therefore, it's something that we want to continue
Continue.
when we get married. And thank God, like our mentors are amazing. So
That's lovely. So counseling and mentorship has been an important bit for you guys even before marriage. So whilst you were dating, marriage counseling or preparing for marriage, and then in marriage, like speaking to someone every month. I mean, it could be like, oh, that's too much, but like you said,
yeah,
like you don't have to wait till there's an issue to talk.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just to rub minds. So you'd say it's a
yeah,
good thing. It's been a good thing for your marriage. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Have they had to help you resolve an issue, or generally it's just to guide you?
Funny enough, no, but we've had some months where it's like, oh, we have something, like for example, the finance one was
Okay.
definitely, oh, we have something over something, yeah, but they've never had to like mediate, thank God, to say like, sit down with Buku, sit down, see, no, 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 we haven't.
That's good. That's good. I'm very,
Thank
very
God.
glad to hear. Especially because many people don't like to involve third party in their marriage. So
Mm,
I think having a safe space where you
mm,
can talk to
yeah,
another couple who is wise and can
exactly.
guide you is very important. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was a lovely, lovely. Like I said, examples and stories are powerful.
Yeah.
Watches this and pick something that they can adopt or
Mhm.
something they can reconsider in their
Yeah.
marriage. It will be helpful. So thank you. Thank you so much
Well,
to
thank
your
you for
husband,
having
your
me.
husband.
I had fun. I'm not going to lie. I had fun.
Lovely.
Like, thank you for this. It really helped me also just like sit and reflect as
Reflect.
well, which is, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. I
thank
really
you.
enjoyed this.
Thank you so, so much. And thank you to everybody who has tuned into this episode. There's more to come
Awesome.
as well. So do well to subscribe to this
Mm-hmm.
channel, subscribe to the podcast, share this with your friends who are newly married or at least still in the early years of marriage, like I said, just seeing people doing it well can encourage you as well to put in the work to make your marriage work. And if you have any thoughts or feedback regarding this episode, please do well to leave a comment. Ibukun will be reading the comments. So if you have questions for her as well, will you respond?
Yes, I will. I will.
She'll respond in the comment section. So do well to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next episode.